Sweden walked into this World Cup and scored 5 goals in their first game. The Netherlands walked into this World Cup and blew a 2-goal lead. On paper, this should be simple. The Dutch are the favorites. They have the bigger names, they have the tournament pedigree, they have the odds stacked in their direction. And yet, Sweden sit top of the group. Sweden have the momentum. Sweden have 2 of the most dangerous strikers on the planet and a coach who has quietly built something that nobody fully accounted for. The favorites are nervous. The underdogs are relaxed. Here's what most people are missing. Sweden sit top of Group F after that 5-1 demolition of Tunisia. The Netherlands are third, level on points with Japan after drawing 2-2 in their opener. That means the stakes couldn't be more different. Sweden know that a second consecutive win could all but seal qualification to the knockout rounds before their third game. For the Netherlands, this is a must-not-lose fixture. Pressure and momentum are pulling in opposite directions. One team needs a result, the other team just wants more of what they already have. In tournament football, that asymmetry matters a lot. The Netherlands' qualifying campaign was dominant. 6 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses, 27 goals scored, just 4 conceded. They arrived here looking like genuine contenders. Then the pre-tournament friendlies happened. A home loss to Algeria, a draw with Ecuador, mild concern signals. Then Japan confirmed it, twice in front, twice pegged back, 2 points dropped before the tournament had even found its rhythm. The Dutch strength is clear, attacking depth. Cody Gakpo, Daniel Malen, Crescencio Somerville across the front line, with Ryan Gravenberch and Tijani Reinders driving from midfield. On their best day, this team suffocates opponents. The weakness is equally clear. They led twice against Japan and twice surrendered their advantage, a defensive fragility that will concern the Dutch ahead of a considerably tougher examination in Houston. Virgil van Dijk leads this backline, still elite, still commanding, still the reason Dutch fans sleep at night. The problem is what happens when the game gets chaotic. That's exactly what Sweden are going to create. Sweden were too good for Tunisia, running out 5-1 winners. Brighton's Yasin Ayari scored a brace, while fellow Premier League stars Victor Gyökeres and Alexander Isak were also on the scoresheet. Let that sink in. A midfielder nobody outside Sweden expected scored twice. Meanwhile, their 2 famous strikers also scored. Graham Potter has shaped this side into an attacking unit willing to commit forward, with high-tempo, vertical football designed to test opponents' defensive shape. Sweden's form in their last 5 games shows 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. Consistent, dangerous, quietly underrated. The concern? Tunisia is Tunisia. This is the Netherlands. The caliber jump is significant, and we don't yet know how Sweden handle elite pressure. Sweden have threat beyond their 2 headline forwards. Ayari has already shown that he is a live threat beyond the headlines, which is a polite way of saying the Netherlands may have been preparing for Isak and Gyökeres, and then Ayari scores again. Teams do love doing that. The most important matchup in this game is happening in the space behind the Dutch midfield. The Netherlands are expected to control possession and push numbers forward, while Sweden look to exploit those spaces on the break. In other words, the Dutch attack, Sweden counter. That game script depends entirely on whether Frankie de Jong can control central midfield. He is the engine. Everything Dutch runs through him. If he has time on the ball, the Netherlands dictate. But with Victor Gyökeres and Alexander Isak already dangerous from transition and Yasin Ayari making runs from deep, Sweden have the personnel to punish exactly the kind of high-line, possession-heavy approach the Dutch prefer. 1 lost ball in the wrong area, 1 transition moment, 1 goal. That's how this game could swing. No major injury concerns have been flagged for either side ahead of this fixture. Both squads appear to be at full strength. Jurrien Timber has withdrawn from the Dutch squad with injury, which means the right-back position goes to Inter Milan's Denzel Dumfries. Expected Netherlands lineup: Verbruggen, Dumfries, Van Dijk, Van Hecke, Van de Ven, De Jong, Reinders, Gravenberch, Somerville, Malen, Gakpo. For Sweden, Potter is expected to name an unchanged side. Gyökeres and Isak lead the line again. Ayari continues in midfield after his 2-goal performance. Expected Sweden lineup: Nordfeldt, Lagerbielke, Heen, Lindelof, Gudmundsson, Ayari, Karlström, Bernhardsson, Nygren, Isak, Gyökeres. Both teams at full strength. No excuses available. Bet365 prices the Netherlands at -150 to win, with the draw at +290 and Sweden out at +400. In plain language, the market thinks the Dutch win roughly half the time, a draw happens roughly 1 in 4 times, and Sweden win roughly 1 in 6 times. The Netherlands' qualifying record of 6 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses, 27 goals scored, that supports the Dutch being favorites. The numbers also support the over 2.5 goals line, with this landing in 7 of the last 10 Netherlands matches. Here's where I push back slightly. The market isn't giving Sweden enough credit for what they showed in Game 1. A 5-1 win tells you something about attacking structure. It tells you about confidence. It tells you about a team that knows exactly what it's doing. The Netherlands are the favorite. Sweden are the value. The market is predicting probability, not certainty. The Netherlands are the better team on paper. The pressure to win forces them forward. They will have more of the ball. But Sweden don't need the ball. Viktor Gyökeres and Alexander Isak both scored against Tunisia and are fully fit for this fixture. 2 elite strikers, both in form, both playing for Premier League clubs with big seasons behind them. Both capable of winning a match on their own. The Dutch defense has already shown it can be broken. Japan did it twice. Sweden have better forwards than Japan. I expect the Netherlands to create more chances overall. I expect them to score. But I also expect Sweden to find at least one moment, one transition, one set piece, one flash of individual brilliance that earns them a point. Predicted score: Netherlands 1-1 Sweden. A draw that keeps the group alive. A draw that both managers will read very differently. And a draw that confirms this Swedish team is not going anywhere quietly. If the Netherlands score first and score early, the entire dynamic shifts. Sweden are built to absorb pressure and counter. They are not built to chase a game. The Dutch will be under immense pressure going into this match, and that pressure can actually unlock them. It forces Koeman's side to be direct, aggressive, and decisive in ways they weren't against Japan. If the Netherlands score in the first 30 minutes, Sweden have a problem. A 2-0 Dutch win becomes entirely realistic. Here is what we know. The Netherlands are the better squad, with more experience, more tournament history, and more individual quality across the pitch. But they are also a team that hasn't yet played like themselves in this competition. Sweden are the better story, confident, organized, dangerous in transition, with 2 world-class strikers in form and a coach in Graham Potter who has clearly communicated a clear identity to this group. The key factor: can the Dutch midfield limit Sweden's counterattacking space? If yes, Netherlands win. If not, Sweden punish them. The numbers point to goals at both ends. The narratives point to shared points. This is a game that will matter. Watch it like you understand what's at stake, because now you do. The game didn't change, you did. You're welcome. Subscribe if you like this. It really means a lot.